Ooh.
I am about to embark on one of the most boring but fun, thorough journeys of my life, and that is taking out the dash on a second gen FC. I've never done that before, and it actually is pretty similar to the FD in the sense of just throw away your whole afternoon and probably the next 2 days. Taking out the glove box, all this other stuff. Actually, James Wood has a whole video on this, and I actually used his video to learn how to do this, so a huge shout out to him for making that sort of technical video. But I have to be careful not to crack these parts and take it there. But the very first step of taking the dash out of this specific car is throwing out the Microtech LT 8 inside of here. That is the, oh, look at that, that is the original ECU, aftermarket ECU right there. And that will not be in this car anymore. It is actually really well mounted. That's beautiful. Look at that serial cable and all that. So that's going first. And then I'm gonna have Joel go edit while I do the rest of this, because this is gonna be pretty mind numbing. So wish me luck. We are making a lot of progress as promised very quickly. I've got everything out of the dash. And that really isn't too dramatic. That's just unbolting, unscrewing, and being gentle on the corners of things. But it's very similar to FD, very, very similar, except that this has this panel, and that threw me for a loop. It's got those little clips on the bottom, and these parts, sadly, unfortunately, very...
Whoa. Okay then,
Yeah.
I guess we're not running those.
Yeah, I didn't do that on purpose. I just knew that that was the case. Oh, you can see though that the whole dash is... Ah, that was loud. Oh, that was... Hopefully the microphone filtered that, because that was fucking loud. We're gonna look for things trying to hang on. So we'll go there. That dash to me, I would say is like a B+. There are a couple broken tabs on it. It's not cracked. It's actually in like decent condition, but there are a couple spots where it's a little rough. Those spots down there, and then here, you can actually see this one's cracked, this is cracked, and then horribly, that one. So.
Did you show them what they're missing, Joel? Like, this is weird. It doesn't have any AC.
That is so wild. Now, yeah, you can actually see it now.
RX-8 has like AC stuff behind there.
Oh, okay, that's where we're going.
Like
This is what's funny, is all you have to do is put carpet. If it's a really good piece of carpet, put the carpet in the bottom, and all of a sudden the car's gonna look like, holy crap, how'd you guys do that? It's carpet, it's always carpet. I want you guys to take a look at both the inside and the engine bay before I go through a complete gutting process. So everything behind me is actually all of the wiring for the Microtech, and it's done in true Rob Dahm fashion. I'm paying for my sins right now, because this is exactly how I would have wired it. I can't joke about it because it is me. It was with me with my limited resources in the past. So say goodbye to all this. I want you to see all of it up close. And then let's go to the engine bay and talk about what's about to happen too. It is time to start working on the engine bay, and that's getting back to the behind the dash stuff. I could put the carpet in right now, but I'm gonna be trampling all over the carpet. So we're gonna take this energy suspension bar off. We're gonna gut almost all of this ribbed, for my pleasure, stuff over here. That's the existing wiring harness. Make sure we get wires for the throttle position, for all the other stuff. We're gonna make sure that we separate the two. Almost got almost all of this back. Got a lot of this too. So I just want you guys to see before, and then we'll show you a very quick process, and then we'll get right to after all of the old stuff is cut out. It takes a master, an expert, to recognize another expert. I have never done it to this level, and I'm almost impressed that there is like heat shrink and electrical tape being used simultaneously. Bill, if you watch this, nothing but love, but this definitely is more impressive than I've ever done. Could have been somebody else too. I don't know who did this. This is actually way safer than the versions I would do. I just want to point that out. I'm not making fun of it like it's worse. I'm making fun of it that it's more thorough. Like it's me, but I would have just left this. I'm gutting. You can already see a little pile starting to form over next to the car. I'm gutting everything else and just starting fresh. So there we have the Microtech harness. And this is so me because every wire is like a 16 gauge thick wire, because I wouldn't be sure how thick they needed to be for all the sensors. It's 100% me. This feels like you're pulling out intestines out of a person. Not that I know what that feels like.
As soon as you said that, I thought of that Tropic Thunder scene.
Oh,
where
yeah.
Guts coming out.
Yeah, that's exactly how this feels. This whole setup is horrifyingly beautiful. This is just a lot of me atoning for my sins. I've said that many times in this video. I just get the chance to make things right. Keeping that harness, in my mind, I just cannot stop hoarding because I'm like, man, maybe somebody will want the harness, so I'm not gonna cut the harness. Hex head bolts are my least favorite thing. Okay.
Oh, there's no gasket.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Oh, that's the throttle position sensor right there. No, that's just whether or not it's at the bottom. Where's the throttle position sensor on this? You know, it's funny, working on this car is like everything the same, but totally different than everything I work on.
Same but different?
Yeah, it's an animal, if you know what I mean.
All for like 10 years, and all his clothes were like all crazy, and they look all dirty and sad, and they give it all its love and care, and then it died. Like, it was all great.
That's TikTok for you.
And it died. And I
Yeah.
was like, I watched the whole there's like a 10 episode story, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Your stories start coming up right as we're filming.
Don't film it as I'm talking. What are you doing?
You know what's worse than one piece of electrical tape? 20 pieces of electrical tape. Like when it does this should pull everything back, connected to the microtech. That is gone. Maybe somebody will pay $5 for that. Isaiah, look at this. This is the wave of the future. Look at this. This is a wideband O2 sensor connected to a phone cord.
Dude, I think I'm gonna play Halo Infinite off of that thing. You need to get a LAN party going.
Yeah, I'm gonna get all the cracked versions like Premiere and shit with this thing. This is a real tune. Like you download your tune off the internet.
That's how young I am. I've never seen that in a car before.
It actually plugs into the, not Microtech, the Z-Tronic. It's even got a phone connector for the data and an O2 sensor for the Cat 5 O2 sensor.
That should be on the back of my router.
Yeah. You can always measure your air to fuel ratios at any time. Okay, so we are taking the gas tank off now, and we'll give her some love that she deserves.
If anybody could recommend some good shop lights, please let me know, because I'm tired of using my phone for everything. Go. But it won't be a 10th tank, so I see. You want to keep the 10th tank.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a 10th anniversary tank.
But it came off the 10th car.
This is the 10th anniversary of not running. As we continue to traverse through the fuel system, we are running into a lot of challenges. But challenges aside, let's look at the positives. We are going to make this as OEM as possible, and that includes Isaiah's idea. So yeah,
Thank you.
I give credit. I give him credit. Yeah,
Thank you.
He wanted to run soft lines, but I'm going to run hard lines. I just wanted to acknowledge that you had the bad idea. No, Isaiah wants to run hard lines throughout this whole area. And so we are going to run the equivalent hard line for a 8 AN to the front and a 6 AN to the back. Since we're going to be using fuel, not all of it is going to come back. So we'll have nice clean runs there. It'll look almost OEM, and it'll be pretty pleasant. He's going to get those all figured out and go to G&J and get those bent, and we'll just have AN line ends on each side. So this whole area looks...
I'm going to bring you guys some AN porn, don't worry.
That's right. That's coming.
Here, the hard line. Old ones come out.
Well, Isaiah's removing the energy suspension.
What type of monster does this? Oh, sorry.
No, it's raw emotion here. There's a monster that used to work on the car. No offense to the previous guys, but that energy suspension thing is weird. There's about 12 bolts, 10 or 12 bolts that are all nutted on the bottom side. The bolt is too small for the hole. It's weird. We're moving forward, and one of the things I wanted to crack up about is kind of the change in technology as time has gone on. And this right here tells you absolutely nothing. What looks like useful data, and it kind of is, it is telling you very accurate data, is from a narrow band O2 sensor, not a wide band O2 sensor. So when you see a sensor like that, like your typical oxygen sensor from most cars, it just simply can tell you whether there is oxygen or not, compared to the traditional air to fuel ratio. If the perfect fuel ratio exists, that means there's no oxygen in your exhaust. that doesn't help you at all because especially with rotaries, you want to maintain a certain amount of oxygen, meaning that you had too much fuel or too little fuel. You know, you're trying to hit a specific goal, which is why a wideband is so useful. So this, showing you that you're at stoic, almost doesn't even work for the one situation where you think it would, which is cruising, because you might not want stoichiometric perfect ratio on this. So this is completely useless. So what I'm doing to keep up with the theme, I'm using two of the similar gauges, autometer gauges, very well used by me on my original FD, what is now the 4-rotor. These are period correct, and they light up in the same colors like the classic 80s and 90s cars with that little bit of like burnt orange sort of color, not blue, not red, burnt orange, so it'll look kind of accurate to this. These will go now into the A-pillar mounts here, and I don't even know if I'll even waste time hooking them up, but I will hook them up for the lighting so they'll glow properly. As you mature with vehicles, you need A-pillar gauges less and less. And this is coming from a guy who owns a rotary, which you need all the gauges. But when you get a car going good, you don't really care about your boost level because you already know it. Because boost is a result of your wastegate. It's just a number. Cool, I can see that I'm running 20 pounds of boost, but I already knew that because I tuned it for 20 pounds of boost. You know what I'm saying? That's where you go with there. If you hook up your water gauge on the dash properly, you don't need this one. The only thing that I really ever have needed on a rotary is oil temp and oil pressure, and I can basically run from there. So I would like these to be that, but they aren't.
You get to free yourself from the shackles of energy. Take it off.
Yep, I'm not free.
You're almost free.
Oh well, you can hear the whole car kind of settle.
Don't believe in that. I bet you if you drop it right now, it would not be able to go back on.
This is the sad part about this. It has to go back on because it took part of the paint with it.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's bad. We'll put something in that place. Isaiah can make something a million times. Actually, Isaiah and I can make something a million times better than this. Machine the shit out of it. Dude, look at these cuts.
Like a
Doink,
wonderful
doink,
job.
doink, 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 doink. Look at this.
Oh, what the heck? That's funny.
They need to just turn that smoothing up. God, so much cleaner, easier to get to. Those areas are kind of trashed, but you can see the whole VIN number matches. That's good. And we're gonna pull this engine and definitely clean everything up. It's just gross.
What were you saying about the suspension?
So I don't think that these are to this car because look, first of all, they don't have the studs in them. Look at the size of that hole. It's not the right size. It's way smaller.
Interesting. That's why they did the smaller bolts.
I think they went with this so that way they could get the camber plates. That's the only reason.
Because it's energy camber plates. I know that part.
Because the way it goes is like this, but since it has slots this way, so now you could adjust the suspension all the way this way or all the way that way, which adds another and obviously aspect.
Yeah. I suspect they are actually for this car, but just a really bad way of solving.
Yeah, that could also be it too.
Because that is.
Because for this car, there's supposed to be studs that go up.
I wouldn't trust those 4 small bolts because the washers were all bending. Like
Yeah,
that's stuff I used to do.
Yeah.
I don't think doing a compression test is going to put that much use on that oil. That is 10 years old, but I think that this oil engine was ran at some point. I'm not sure. It's kind of a mystery of the week. We're getting hit with some weird twists and turns to this. If this was ran at some point, the mystery gets even weirder because the fuel tank was filled with just gasoline and all of the oil metering stuff was all blocked off. So maybe there was premix in the tank and we don't see it anymore. If there's premix, that would have been oil, and that the inside of the tank wouldn't have rusted much. So there's a lot of confusion as to what state this car was last in when it last drove. Whether or not this engine must have ran at some point. Isaiah was pretty close to pulling this damn thing, and that's going to allow me to do all of my wiring and get the core buttoned up.
When I first started, I started with the Turbo 2, and that's how I got into the fabrication of rotors and stuff like that. It's like one of those what is it, muscle memory type things? You're like, oh yeah, that's a 14. You know, everything's going to be a 14. You know what to do. It's just like, you're just going through the motions. It's just like, I don't know, heartwarming feeling. Oh look, that's burnt out. Bad starter anyways, all dust around it. Like, man, looks like it needs a wasp. So we're pretty much ready to go. I feel like I'm missing something, but I mean, the car's not fully together, and these FCs don't really have a lot holding them in there. Just gotta undo this vacuum line, this last bolt, and we are good to pull her out. Rob desperately wants me to use his engine mount thingy, so I guess we're gonna use his engine mount thingy.
I welded it.
Yeah.
You guys want to see my engine mount thingy? Look at that beautiful gold weld right there. Isaiah couldn't even lay those type of dimes. It's mild steel, as Isaiah would say.
It's gonna stop me, you fucking bitch.
You're a psychopath.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I do
as you
know
say,
that.
you know exactly where you're at, right?
Yeah.
So I made this one for 2 rotors. I made this one for 3 rotors. And I made this one for 4 rotors. This should go on. What is that?
Man, so you could tell that Rob made it.
Yeah, something's in a different spot. Okay, so we don't need to use that hole. But we do need to use this one. And then that one right back there. There we go. Top half is a little bit spread. We're prolapsing the anus now. The bottom is slightly less, but it's, thankfully this is a Turbo 2, not an FD, so there's no pull type clutch. I think we're good to start booping the motor forward. Yeah, we are 100% clear.
These things are so easy. There's so much room. As long as you have determination, it's not that hard. You saw how easy that was. We're not special. We're idiots just like you guys.
I think that's why the channel does well, is because we are not special, and you gotta remember that. I saw a guy today on Facebook that was like, hey, who should I have rebuild my engine? And the #1 comment was, do it yourself. Even if you make mistakes, whatever, nobody can take that from you. I was excited to see that as like everybody saying that, because we're making the rotary community collectively, it's not just us, we're making it to where you know that this is a not so intimidating thing to do. And so sadly, it's a common thing you have to do with rotary engines, but it shouldn't be intimidating. Look at the light and flywheel. This will be very interesting. This is on the back side of this little nipple, and this is pretty common. This isn't like any one person's fault. I've done this quite a bit. You take a nipple and you, of course, use a hose clamp to keep it tight, but look at that. Over time, the heat wears away. That was just the wrong moment away from blowing coolant all across your engine, definitely causing an engine failure. You almost won't catch it quick enough. You could, but you won't. Oh, look at this block-off plate. The little block-off plate got pretty close. It must be on sideways. Like, look at how much extra space is over here. At this point, is it easier to clean these irons if they were separate from each other?
I think since Thanksgiving is coming up, I think people would enjoy the take apart of a Turbo 2 engine. Because we haven't did a Turbo 2 engine on the channel.
No, that's a great reasoning. I thought the same thing myself. You know, it's just Joel was kind of voice of reason.
I don't know why you say Joel, it's video man.
Videographer.
Yeah, you guys you're giving them a name now.
Just so you guys know, Joel has been the voice of reason of us. What I've been saying is blitz build, but look at this. I want you guys to see the struggle in this. It needs to come apart. Too much weirdness with this. There could have been stuff that fell into here because of all the injectors been out. So, I mean, I'm just dotting my I's, crossing my T's.
Injectors have been out for 5 minutes.
It could have.
But yeah. I dropped a bolt in there, dude. I'll tell you.
Yeah, Joel, we have to. He dropped a bolt into the engine. I can just quickly look at it. Just simply inspect the inside.
Just pop in there. Hey, everything all good? All right,
Yeah.
cool.
It's like the scene in Indiana Jones where they take the Ark and they like say, we've got top men working on it, and then they hide it in a bunch of crates like that one.
None of your viewers are that old.
I know, but it's a movie. It's a movie. You can watch the movie. Okay, so we're not taking it apart.
Internal struggle here. As much as I would like to see it come apart, it's the same amount of effort it is to take apart or put together a stronger engine. So it's like, what do you do? We want to get it running how it is. We just want it running, and then when it blows up, because we will blow it up. It's not strong. It's a little baby, but we will blow it up. When we blow it up, we're like, cool. At least we got it running. It drives. Then we bring back with a Cosmo engine with the 13B RE on the top. Looks all cool, powder coated, all sick, nice turbo. Nice intercooler piping and all that fun stuff. It looks like a real car.
Oh,
We're not even doing anything,
we're
bro.
not doing anything. Chill.
Yeah. Isn't it time to go home? Too?
Yeah, you got videos at it. We're just looking at it. We're just looking at it, okay? There's nothing wrong with looking at it.
So we're just gonna check out the inside, you know, just quick vibe check. This costs us nothing besides eyesight.
Yeah, it's a little bet we have, you know.
This has been ran.
Yeah.
There's no way. This is fresh.
It doesn't look bad. I'm looking at, I can see one of the rotor housings. It looks like it's full of shit, but not bad. What are you doing? It moves so easy by hand. So we know it has compression. Yeah, the seals look fine. Damn. The rotors look like they're full of shit. The only downside to that is all of that shit fucking up our engine. Like our running. Like that could make us look bad, to be honest. Like all that stuff in there is literally what we talk about with E85 being better than regular gas. Chill, Daddy, chill.
It just quit.
Yeah. So there's that chance that that sort of shit could cause a premature detonation. Premature detonation, guys. It survived the night. There is a shit ton of shit all over this. What I am going to do is take these plugs out here, these little two baby ones here. Those are actually British Standard PPs, BSPP, and they are 28 threads, whereas 1/8 MPT is actually 27. It's either reverse that, but I'm 99% sure those are 28 threads. So you can use 1/8 MPT, but they don't thread fully. Take both of those out. I got little clips for those, cap those off nice. We're gonna take this out, do a 1/2 MPT plug onto that instead of doing this. We've got a full function thing on the way for this. This is still functional. I'll just take these sensors off. And this is 1/8 MPT. We can still use it for now. I've got a little thing here that this will take, I think it's like either 12 or 14 metric, turn that into a 6AN line to then feed the turbo sitting over here. We'll take this whole section off. We have the full function thing that will cap this timing section out. So there's a lot of weight there. Waiting on the full function thing to be able to read a timing thing around all the belts. We'll take this off. He's got a lot of things to plug.
Oh my god.
Oh, our semi-PPs look great. Oh, that whole coolant system is trash. Look inside the engine. For those of you that aren't familiar, these two are positioned in freeze plugs. So there's little pieces of like bronze looking things that plugs that as the water temperature gets close to breaking, it would snap the motor. Water is very, very strong that way. Instead, it pushes out freeze plugs here, and then under the front cover. Ew.
Going deep in there, nice.
Yeah, so the plug is not in.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna throw it outside and run coolant through it.
No, just give me 5 minutes alone with the motor.
You're gonna get sticky, okay?
So that's very gross. We'll cut these down because he's using washers, which is fine, but you torque this too hard, forget the washers or something, and then now you're pushing into the rotor housing, so you do not want that. So we'll cut these down. We'll take this one off, tap that for 1/8 MPT, plug that. So we got a lot of things to plug.
And we're gonna plug all these vacuum ports. I think the only one we need would be up there now.
Up on the upper intake, yeah.
This thing flows really nice, dude.
Yeah, he did a good job honing it out,
I mean,
by hand.
it just flows in there.
I think there's some water in it. It splashed up a little bit of water. That's gonna be the grossest shit ever.
Yeah.
Yep. If I had my way, we would be rebuilding this engine. This is just proving it over and over again. That's coolant.
Thai tea.
Ew. You keep trying to ruin my favorite drink. You know what? You stay right there.
Oh no. Hey, the camera, dude. Okay, now you can do it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. The camera. It's the camera that I'm worried about. You know what this looks like? This looks like me after $2 vodka Red Bulls. Well, I'm certainly not going to turn water into wine, but I do have a magic trick, and that is taking clean water, that beautiful clean water, and turning it into sludge. Man, I'm good. There's some serious crap inside this motor. I, for the record, want to tear this motor apart so badly. This is such a bad idea. I guess this is entertainment. I am dying on the inside because this is not what I want to do, but we don't have time to rebuild it because I'm gonna do all my fancy stuff to it. So that's my disclaimer, I said it. And normally I love my Valvoline stuff, but they can't really get it. So I'm gonna use this heavy duty degreaser, which doesn't work for 90% of what you're trying to do. But in this case, it seems like it's actually gonna work kind of well. Now I'm gonna be careful because I'm degreasing everything. So all my bearings or anything that come in contact, if it gets inside of things, I have to be very careful with that. This is definitely a whole different build process for me. I bought this for £1 or maybe 2 pounds at a Goodwill outlet, and it's a little steamer, right? But look at this. Okay, we'll just keep taking it. Certainly seems to be useful. Oh, that helps big time. Working way better than I thought. We've already got a dirty floor that we have to address. We're gonna go ahead and take the oil pan off, take a look at the oil pressure regulator, and make some sort of baffle. Because what you see is on second gen RX-7s, when you turn right or when you turn very hard, this pan does not do a very good job at preventing sloshing, and so you'll get air in the pickup tube, and you starve your motor. I'm all about oil, so that's a very big deal to me. So that's as far as we're taking the motor down right now. I only know one speed, that's go. Now we've basically got all the contaminants out. We are pushing water through it to just get anything out that's left. It's kind of wild to see how slow coolant moves through this, or at least how much restriction there is. Neither side's actually pushing enough to push through. We're gonna hit it from the coolant hole on the side.
From the side, yeah, hit it from the side.
Now it is finally time to do what the whole reason I took this thing out for is to take these little nipples out. This one is going to definitely crush. It's a combination of pulling up and I crushed it, which I've done quite a few times when doing these, but I'm a little scared because this engine's older. Oh shit, that's not good. That is not good. Yeah, shit. That's not the first time it's happened. I'm very used to this, sadly. But I was hoping that'd be easier.
You can't be serious. How did you do this? Explain.
So...
you had these. You had these?
Yeah.
That... Why? You're not that strong.
I was high.
How are you going to do this now?
Oh, really easy. Pass it off to somebody else.
Oh my god.
No, I've done this on the 3-rotor. Trust me, I'm not freaking out yet. We're not freaking out. I just want to point out, though, that all of my machining skills come from you. Anything I've learned how to manipulate metal is... I'm inspired by you. You know that, right?
You really fucked us here, guys.
It just creates an opportunity for learning and growth. You can just... By you, I mean me, I can just weld that down.
You think you're that talented?
No.
But
I could. It's pretty trashed. You know what'd be easier is if this whole engine was in pieces. You can tell that it's not cast because it's all not splintering.
It's like very thin metal in there, but now I have a center hole to go about. We're all smart enough this time to maybe a PB blaster, the other stuff you has to fuck up. That's more than enough.
Thankfully, we gain even more space taking off this whole timing assembly. Adios! In theory, this is actually a very accurate system. A lot of people still run it, but I like a trigger wheel where there's no backlash, there's no question that the trigger wheel is exactly where the engine position is.
Can you tell what time it is right now?
Yeah, it looks like it's about 7:43. So this little adapter, I bought a couple spares of in the past. This is metric to 6AN. So see how the threading's all different? And metrics are not tapered. That's why you'll see copper crush rings on there. This was from the old setup. This is gonna be an M12, either 1.5 or 1.25, I can't remember which. We're gonna need something because oil's gonna come around all those teeth. So we'll probably reheat the copper or get another one. And for those of you guys that are familiar with rotary engines, this is currently oil coming from the back, going through all this area here that's prone to cracking, and then it's out. This is not an in at this moment. So this will go out to the turbo. So we're gonna go ahead and take this shit off. This is the MPT, but not the scary ones, this bottom one.
Can you get the wrench? Just in case it doesn't, never mind, you're good. My bad.
So you can see it kind of swiveling at the moment, and that's partially because this is definitely somebody's threading an 1/8 inch MPT instead of the correct thing. And again, when you're at Lowe's or in Monroe, Michigan, this is really the only option you have. But nowadays you can order tons of shit online, so you can see. Oh man, you can see it. Watch this. Look at that wobbling. The threads were starting to mar up a little bit. This is made out of brass, so the brass was going to deform before this. Looks just like 1/8 inch MPT, and you'd be wrong. These are very weird, obscure things that you learn only after seeing somebody else's video or post on a random forum thread, but that's them.
Nice.
And they do have O-rings on there. And these are rated to like 2,000 PSI or something. Pretty insane. This is 28 threads versus 27, and the cast won't crack. That's about one of the cleanest things I've ever done. You can use MPT things in here, but it's kind of a one and done, and I do not recommend that. So one is for coolant and one is for oil, which is great stock locations, to be honest, for those. With the modern stuff, we'll put them up here with not a block, although this is very functional, but this is 1/8 inch MPT, this is 1/8 inch MPT, so we could reuse this old school Racing Beat 1, and it gets us away from this dark, dank area there and the wrong type of threads. When you're in a bind, this is the best way of blocking something, is blocking one end with a hose clamp, blocking the original thing with a hose clamp. Ew. This is push fit, so it's not like I'm tightening it or loosening it, but I am just gonna... This one's gonna be the hardest one. It was last time too.
I only have one rule in my favor, and it's always to be the hardest one in the room.
The hardest one?
You want to explain why you're not doing this anymore?
It's really a team effort. You go out there, give it 110%. You just got to make sure that the team is a team. It's cohesive. It's moving well, and it's a well-oiled machine.
This is the trick right here. Because obviously we're only human. Hand strength is only so strong. It's supposed to move, okay?
Yeah. Trust me, I thought about that with the last one too. What we just did was lop this off. Joel was in the bathroom. We're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this taken off and then just go flat and then just start drilling it out. We got no other option. So all of that work for a 1/2 inch MPT, 14 threads per inch. A cautionary tale, this is how you trash your own car parts. All the other shit we did isn't actually bad compared to what you can do with this. See that taper? You only want to go so far. That takes, for me, years. I don't know how far to taper. And then when I go to put the plugs in, if you're to make your hole, say your hole was a 1/2 inch thick, like that thick, and you went all the way to here, well, now you've ruined the taper that is being created here. But you have to create the threads. You can't stop up here. So it's this weird ass game of like, okay, how far do you go and how much torque? I'm sure there's tons of specifications for that. But you're not threading this all the way through. This is not a square tap. This is a tapered tap. We're gonna go until it hits somewhere about mid-section right here. And then when we go to put the plug in, you don't ram it all the way home. And that's how I cracked the 4-rotor, which nobody really, we've made it in the video, but nobody really notices that because it cracked and then coolant leaked and sealed it. We're gonna go ahead and take the clutch off, and it's not because I care about the clutch. You can actually see from the side here that the clutch has tons of meat, and that was as it was advertised. And you see how thin this flywheel is. I'm more curious about the rear main bearing. A very quick thing for us to test is pull the rear main bearing out, look to see for copper, see how trashed or good this engine is before we go any further.
Just really want to pull it, don't you?
I don't know if I'll be upset if it's bad. Because even Isaiah earlier today was just telling me how, like, you know, semi-P and, well, just really poured the shit out of it and just, you know.
Pour the fans, bro. It needs to get ready.
Oh, you made the mistake, Isaiah. I have dowels here. And the engine's not back in the car yet.
You gotta get it done fast enough.
Damn it. I'm not going to get it done fast enough. You'll see this video before then, but by December 10th, this car has to be ready. We have 2 types of events that really will showcase what we're doing. So, pretty traditional clutch wear. Nothing crazy here. Nothing crazy. It just started being used. It's not. This isn't really anything particular to me. That's all the Loctite. I would hate to have this fall off. That would be very, very bad to have a flywheel fall off of a car. There's a video of it on a random car where it just rolls off into like the dirt. Yeah, where they have the V8 engine running and it just the flywheel just whoosh. It's got so much momentum. That's pretty light. Put this on the baby scale. We're gonna see how light this thing is.
10 pounds, Rob.
10 pounds?
Yep.
I like the mode that it's on right now. Or do it.
Yeah.
No, just keep it going. Keep on going.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
That
ridiculous.
is my favorite part. It like hits. If it doesn't go, it like does it and it hits it again, which
That is
allows it to break loose so much.
ridiculous.
That's how it's done.
There you go.
The best thing is we have the Tang 3/8 torque wrench for doing these properly.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Ooh.
Okay, what do we got? What do we got? Please be bad.
Bitchin'.
I mean good. I want it to be bad. It is slight uneven wear, but it's actually, when you really get down to it, it's completely even wear. Like you can see that's like the original Babbitt material right at that bottom corner. But that makes you think that, okay, that's not worn. This side's gonna be completely worn. When I flip it 180, completely smooth. There's no copper showing there. So as much as hoping it was bad, it's perfectly fine.
So we got this brand new tank. This is something for the evap system. We don't care about the evap system anymore, so I just capped that off. I replaced this guy. In here is brand spanking new, like it even has a little blue tint to it. But let's go ahead and throw it in.
Look what I got. New fuel tank.
Oh, nice.
The guys across the pond, well, a different pond, one of the many ponds, actually sent us these. This one's for you.
Oh,
No
oh,
rods.
nice.
Which we have rods. Don't confuse us with our. Exactly. There we are. Marty Moog sent us these. That's so awesome, and I 100% support this message.
Got the tank up here all by myself because I'm that strong. And then just... That's not going nowhere. Since you guys know we're all about that OEM plus life, I've really put Rob on the plus because I made him get these nice stainless steel hard line. They got a -8 for the feed, they got a -6 for the return. Replaces pretty much the stock line, and I think this runs in there so nice and smooth, retained by the OEM brackets. Like, just look how cute that is. It's cool, right?
That looks really good.
And then I mean, I've had these in here for I don't know a decent amount of time. Joel hasn't really been paying attention, but on top of that, we're taking the cage out. So there's these little plates under here. I took these off, so now all the bolts from the other side of the bolt-on for the cage. We're gonna drop the car and hopefully pull the cage out. I don't know how we're gonna do that yet, but I'm gonna need some assistance. A brand new carpet. You gotta be respectful. I'm gonna treat this like this Asian girl's house. Shoes off. Yeah, weird. Looks like the bolts stop it from going somewhere. They put the carpet in, and I don't know.
Me. Because the cat kept trying to like scratch it.
Step bro, I'm kind of stuck. I gotta take the bins out so that way we could take this piece out since this is a formed carpet type thing. it's not for nothing because we have to flip these bins around either way. They're actually facing this way, so as of right now, these bins would flip up this way.
So while he's working on that, we've got a bit of a problem. We have tried everything, absolutely everything, to not tear this engine apart, and yet fate has laughed in our faces. So we are going to take this engine apart. There's crap inside of it that we cannot take out. Because our goal is to not only drive this thing through Death Valley because of a little rally on one day, the next day is then to have it attempt to do some sort of track day, especially with a particularly professional driver that we didn't expect to have happen as we did today. So this thing's got to last in two different ways, and there's just so much crud inside the coolant system. We're both afraid that cooling in, it won't be able to absorb all the heat, and then we blow the motor, and then we look like shit, even though it's just like a dumb reason to do that. So the engine's really rough on the coolant system. We're gonna go ahead and disassemble it, clean it all out, and then reassemble very quickly.
You mentioned dowels.
When it comes to doing that very quickly, we have a little friend of mine that came to visit. We'll be unveiling what this is in a second. We have to wait for the brand, but we got a couple of these up our sleeve. I'm gonna work all of my magic on that one.
Oh, there we go. We have a lot of movement. Houston, we have liftoff.
You guys are pretty good at that. He's better.
Lost my touch. You know what? He needs help.
There you go. Have you stroke out tools?
Why is that working so well?
Watch out for the bottom.
Let's see how much this weighs. Joel, follow me. 246. 206. So that's after Chipotle. So that's 40 pounds right there, and that's not including the two stubbies. So we're talking 45, I'd say, pounds. That's not insane, especially in the middle of the car, but that's something. And honestly, I could eat 45 pounds of Chipotle and be better off, like, life quality. Honestly, this car's not going to go fast enough on the track to ever need that 2-inch thick tubing. If we didn't know how to make them, I would leave it in there, but we can make a much better one, much tighter. I mean, it's actually a pretty decent shape.
Everything on this was a lot tighter.
We saved you guys all the time. We redid what we just did a second ago in the video, but we're finally past that, and we're going straight through this, getting right to the center of this block. They Loctited it. That's why I gave it a second. I could feel the thing fighting me.
Turbo 2, wow. Turbo 2, a little gear in there for the little crank angle sensor.
Nothing crazy there. We have a nice little counterweight. The Torrington bearings are in good shape. Everything looks like a normal teardown. Nothing crazy here.
Don't be a dumbass like me. Listen, take this off. There's a roller bearing behind there.
There we go. Yeah, so here's that other roller bearing. Here's the spacer. And that's the part that'll crush the roller bearing. We've got two parts to this. What's our front bearing looking like? Oh, look, it's starting to wear on that side. See that spot right there? That's worn down to the copper in that corner. But look at where that's at. You put this back in there. That's the top, and that's the water pump and the alternator up here. So it's pulling up there. They didn't over tighten it. That's very slight wear. Still a pretty good bearing. All of these loose, and my daughter back home. Little cat just came back. I was like, wow, that is a really short bolt. I think we broke it off. That's 2 rotor bolts.
Take the little nuclear reactor rods out.
Every time it feels like that.
Why are you taking them out cross?
Oh, that's proper. That's proper.
That matters. You don't tighten it cross, but you take them out.
I'm counterculture. I'm built differently. Oh, that was it. So here comes.
This is it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that guy and that guy.
You can smell the acetone, but.
Oh.
Ew, what is this? Why is that? That was in the coolant system.
The rotor parts look good though. Look at that. The housings look good. All these seals look solid.
Yeah.
Some nice rotors.
There's some little bypass right there. You see that?
All the little corners.
Over here too. But yeah.
Wow. That would have screwed us. That's our aha moment. We blew this out with air and everything. And that was not enough. Look at that. I was expecting this little bit right here. Yeah, that's gross. I thought we weren't going to be able to get that out. Joel says it tastes like expired milk and cheese. I'm not gonna verify. So that's gross. But what I was not expecting, none of us were expecting it to be a complete blockage right there. That looks like spray cheese.
Some feta, dude.
Ew, it does look like ricotta. Oh my god, that is almost delicious looking. Ew, it felt like ricotta.
It literally splat on the ground. Wow.
So this is a complete blockage in at least one channel, you know, like I'm not trying to oversell, I'm not trying to be dramatic, I'm just showing you the results. And I don't like ricotta. And here's the worst one. So why does this channel matter so much? This channel is near the, nope, that channel matters the least, sorry. So I thought this was the spark plug side, so I was gonna say that this one matters so much. Thankfully, I will say the spark plug side, which is where, you know, the heat really builds up the most, that side's pretty open, but again, flowing through the motor, we wouldn't have gotten a complete flow and we would have had some hot spots. Oh my God. I thought that was just a surface thing. Look at that. It just keeps, we couldn't reach this because we just couldn't, we were blowing, you guys saw earlier in the video. We're gonna carefully remove the rotor from this.
Oh, the back over here too.
Yeah, that's completely clogged. The rear iron is where the coolant does a 180. It doesn't even look like there's a port here, and there is. We are going to remove it.
Ooh, I got it.
Okay. They flip-flopped. Here's the other one.
So we got the 3 nibs.
If this is a stock motor, these will be 3-piece apex seals. Oh yeah, they are 3-piece though. There's a little bit of wear on the rubber. Oh whoa, the spring did some weird shit. That's a weird one. Nothing. Again, I'm not trying to hype it. The engine seemed like it was gonna be just fine. Doesn't look super high mileage, to be honest. Like you can still see the stock wear pattern.
What's that giant spring on the ground?
I thought you were gonna mess with us. Oh, that's important. That's inside the E shaft. So we're gonna take rotor housing 2 off. Ew, man. And we cleaned. We obsessively cleaned. And look at it down there. Disappointing.
That was down there.
Okay, we have to remember this is rotor 2. So I feel a little bit of wear, like the slightest bit of step wear on this. Not a big deal though. It's pretty normal. Coolant housings did not get eaten by acetone. Oh, they were starting to get close though. It was gonna fail. Probably the long sitting, and then we would. I honestly feel like this is a really good move now.
The plate looks good.
The step wear is
The hardest wear is right here on the compression side. Other than that, they're chilling. Oh, I got it in my eye.
Oh, okay. There we go. Now we have a problem. That is a problem.
Yep, right there at the spark plug hole.
Right at the spark plug hole. All the side seals. Oh, that one. Look at that spring's got it. We gotta replace that spring.
Is it better than RX-8?
Yeah, I feel that one. That spring's gone right there. Got it. We would have been kicking ourselves in the ass if we ran this motor. We would have been like, we should have torn this apart. We should have torn this apart.
Oh,
That looks like blue cheese. There you go.
This is so.
Yeah, give me the satisfaction of this spot. I need to see this one out. There might be some metal right there. Yeah. Yeah, there. Ew.
There you go, buddy.
Thank you so much. This is crisis averted.
What is this?
We tried so hard to clean all this out. I thought we did a decent job too. I knew we didn't. I thought we did.
That's like Parmesan.
Yeah, it's all different cheese types.
She reminds me of like pimple popping.
Yeah, that's like ASMR pimple popping. Man, that was completely blocked. That whole passage was completely.
Not on the
I
J's.
am sorry. Housing's in great shape though.
That is actually, housings are one of the most expensive parts of a rebuild, so that these are in good shape. This would have been catastrophic.
You know, it would have led to the RX-8 winning.
Oh.
As much as I want the RX-8 to win, I don't want the RX-8 to win like this.
Time to clean it up and hit it with some good old paint.
So now what is... No.